Hello everyone, my name is Austin, aka Bakao, and today we are playing some Historic on Magic Arena. So for the past couple of weeks I have been playing this deck, Blue-Red Delirium, and streaming it to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/bakau, or Bakao, and this deck is very powerful. Just about a week ago, a little over a week ago, I was down in Bronze in Historic rankings, and now I'm up to Diamond. And I plan to be in Mythic by the end of the month, and hopefully that'll qualify me for the next qualifying tournament here on Magic Arena. So let's go over the deck and then play some matches. So the centerpiece card of the deck is Arclight Phoenix. If you've played any Magic in the last year or so, you know what this card does, but basically the plan A is to pitch this into the graveyard, whether it's via surveilling or just discarding, like Faithless Looting. And then if you cast 3 instants or sorceries in the same turn, you get it back into play for free. And all of our other creatures assist with this plan. The Channeler does also care about cards being in our graveyard because of Delirium, and it also just fills the graveyard on its own. It's just one of the best 1-drop red creatures ever made, if not number 1. Sprite Dragon is our best 2-drop by far. You can just plop it down on turn 2, and then suddenly you just have a little pressure engine without even having to worry about it. All you have to do is cast a bunch of spells, and it'll dispatch your opponent real quick if they don't have an answer to it. And Crackling Drake, we have 2 copies in the main and 2 in the sideboard because it's so dang good. It gets bigger the more instants and sorceries are in the graveyard, which is something we're already trying to do. And it draws you a card when it enters, which is especially nice in post-board games when the games slow down and you're more interested in card advantage than just getting straight fast damage, you know. So we bring in the 4 Crackling Drakes almost every single matchup because it's so good. And the nice thing about it is it doesn't only count spells in the graveyard, it also counts them in exile. So if your opponent plays like a Rest in Peace or a Leyline of the Void, this thing still grows bigger and bigger. And that's one of the big selling points of this deck, and part of the reason why I've built it the way I have, is that if people bring in a bunch of graveyard hate, our deck still functions just fine. Normally this deck will play cards like Ox of Agonis, it'll play cards like Finale of Promise. I'm not interested in those cards actually, because although they are powerful game 1, you almost always have to take them out in games 2 and 3 because people will bring in graveyard hate against you, and they're just not worth the risk. So instead I'm playing cards like Charter Course, which not only is a little discard engine, not only is it a sorcery for Delirium, but it's also just straight card advantage in the post-board games. When your opponent shuts off the graveyard, you can still just say, okay, I'll attack with a Sprite Dragon, then draw 2 cards. And now I have more cards in hand than you, and yet they have to find an answer for just the creatures you have in play. You don't even worry about the graveyard anymore. But yeah, other than that, I've separated it here. We have some cheap 1-mana draw spells. We have a bunch of cheap removal. Expressive Iteration is pretty much always a 2-for-1. Just one of the best blue-red card advantage cards I've ever printed. And then the sideboard, just a smattering of useful cards. Narset, both in control matchups and in the mirror, is just so good. Not only does it prevent them from drawing extra cards, it also just digs you deeper for whatever spell you're looking for. It's been really nice. Abrade, extra removal for aggressive decks. Also the Artifact Clause is nice against cards like Witch's Oven, Portable Hole, Key to the Archives. There's some good artifacts in this format that we want to blow up. Soul Guide Lantern, self-explanatory for other graveyard strategies, like the Mirror or the food sacrifice decks. Then we've got some counters. We've got Dispute, we've got Negate, just to shore up the counter-heavy matchups like Control. Aether Gust for if we play against red or green spells that we want to take care of. But yeah, this deck is very powerful. It's a lot of fun to play, and we're going to run it through some matches today. So we'll see you in a minute.